Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome back to yet another TapDaddyBeats stream. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. And yes, today I'm just going to be mixing some beats in Ableton Live. I'm excited to dive into it. Now, I always choose the beats that I'm going to mix down, on Thursdays ahead of time. I honestly cannot remember what I chose this week, so it's going to be a surprise to both of us. It should be good. It should be good. The goal is to mix 3 beats today, just light mixes, getting things sounding good for BeatStars, All these beats are going to be going on BeatStars, so good stuff, If you guys are looking to listen to my music, I am TapDaddy on all platforms. This is my latest single called Lilac Petals. So, good stuff there. Anyways, we should just dive into the work. I'll let you guys go find this if you're interested. No worries if not. Let's pause that and let's go see what we are mixing down today. So like I said, I have no idea what beat this is, okay? I chose these beats earlier this week, and for the life of me, I can't remember what all I chose. If you guys are curious, I have a backlog of okay, really my backlog is 1,000 beats, right? But of the unpublished bunch, I've got 200 beats, right? And yeah. Can't remember what beat this is. Every beat that we're going to mix down today is going to be a surprise to me. So without further ado, let's listen. First pass listen to the mystery beat, song 966. Let's check it out. Oh, this one. Okay. All right. I kind of remember this one. Let's check it out. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Oh, I got ideas already. I'm kind of feeling like maybe some sidechain action could really make these drums punch through the beat. Which for boom bap is really cool. Maybe not for every genre, but for boom bap, yeah. Ooh, I'm excited to drop this. Really, I'm just excited to hear bars on this. What do I got on my drums? What if we monoed this? Yeah, kind of bring that open hat center. I think that might be better, right? Okay. Dude, that's sick. All right. Oh yeah, this was a beat where I sampled myself, basically. I can tell because of the name of the audio file here. And I do remember playing this. I basically laid down some chords and I chopped them in simpler as if it was just a sample I found, basically. This is gonna be a fun one. All right, let's dive into it. All right, let's see what do we got going on here. I like to start from the beginning, work our way forward. Just makes logical sense to me. Where's that fuzz coming from? Okay, so that fuzz is down here. And that's just part of the tracking. We're gonna roll with it. Honestly, it does kind of fill out the intro, so it's kind of advantageous. Let's hear the transition though. I do kind of like how that air cuts off as soon as that bass hits, right? That's kind of a good feeling. Okay, here's something kind of off the wall, and this is something that, like, is a little bit more producer-esque, I guess. You know, maybe not so much of a mixing trick. I would only do this on my beats or artists that I work with that, like, work with me as a producer, basically. But I'm kind of thinking, like, is there any way that we can make that transition more satisfying, right? The air to the cutoff of the air. And one way that I feel like we could make this feel a little bit more connected is, what if I did this, like, spin down on this like little note? You know what? Quit yapping. Show, don't tell. Let's do it. All right. Let's bust out a shifter here. Like I said, this is kind of a production detail, but I think, like, mixing wise, this helps this intro gel into the beat itself, right? Might not work, but we're trying things, man. We're trying things. All right. And really, I wanted this to go on this last note here. Why am I in draw mode? That's silly. Yeah, so what if instead it was like, Byonk. Ooh, yeah, something like that. And you see, that way it's like we have this way that we're tying in the silence of that air, you know? That's kind of cool. And it sounds hip-hop as fuck. Oh, maybe we... Okay, I'm getting kind of in the weeds here, but what if instead of, like, right there, we let it hit that note and then bend down? Yeah, that feels a little bit better. It's minute, but yeah, it feels better. Ah, that's sick. Okay. Now. I think the next thing that I'm turning my attention towards, probably the drums, the bass. If there was anything that we wanted to do foundationally with this piano, we'll see what we're doing here, you know. What's up, Bubba? How you doing, man? He says, just tuning in. Is the piano line sampled or something you did? It is both, man. I'm glad you asked. I played this piano part, and then I chopped it when I made this beat. So, I'm not sure if I can, like, play the full audio without screwing up my slices, unfortunately. But yeah, this is some piano work that I recorded myself, and then I loaded it into Simpler, and I sampled myself, which is just, I don't know, it's just something kind of fun. I think it's kind of a fun challenge for anybody that likes sampling but maybe wants to improve your musicianship. You know, it's cool. Hey, what's up, Aiden? How you doing, man? Welcome on in, dude. How's your day going? Yeah, you can see the chops down here. All right. First thing I was kind of thinking here, we might start with some sidechain kind of stuff between the drums and the bass. Maybe real quick before that, I see we had OTT on these drums, on this piano. I feel like we could do better than that, you know. But yeah, Aiden says, I'm gonna be in Europe for 2 weeks. Oh shit, where are you going in Europe, man? That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, this basically brightened it. It doesn't sound bad, but I am curious if we tried, like, some different compressors. OTT's a little aggressive, you know. Yeah, and I can't remember how long ago I made this beat, if I was in my LA2A phase. We might try LA2A, we might try the 1176. We'll see. Something like this. So that's definitely brighter. This is definitely warmer. Which way do we want to go? But yeah, was that piano line layered or just one shot with two hands? Sounds great. Yeah, this is something that I literally played on piano, like with this MIDI keyboard. Here, I'll just show you. Whoop. Jam cam, which, by the way, if you guys are ever in here on Saturdays, I use this cam a lot. Yeah, it was just something that I played with two hands on this piano with a MIDI piano, you know? It just sounded pretty nice, you know? And then basically what I did was I exported that audio and I loaded it up in Simpler so I could like chop it. And that's how we get that like fun, like syncopation kind of feel, you know? But yeah, here. You can see what's going on, the sample chops down here in the bottom left. So really, I only used a little bit of what I recorded here. I think like, here's a rough idea of like what I recorded. Oops. That's it. Yeah. It was fun, man. It was fun. This was a fun beat to cook, you know. I won't lie. But yeah, I see Aiden saying, I'm driving from Munich to Montenegro. Oh, hell yeah, man. And yeah, he says, I use that compressor on all my Vox all the time. Do you have any songs where you recorded a real grand piano? I certainly don't have a real grand piano in my apartment. I wish, though. I wish. If I did have a real grand piano, I would use it all the time. If I had access to one, that would be great. But unfortunately, I don't. All right, we got to start making some decisions, start making some progress here. Let's see. I'm thinking this LA2A might be more the ideal choice. And I am kind of curious. So this is very rich and full. It's got some width to it. What if, sometimes when you throw things in mono, it feels even more sampled, you know? So, like, let's pull out a utility here. Let's just see. Because if we did get it as this narrow band, what's kind of cool is all of the other details that we have in this track might stick out, like, a lot more just being a little bit on the sides, right? But it could kill the vibe. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's going to kill the vibe. We came, we tried, we experimented, we failed. That's okay. All right. Yeah, this is sounding great. All right, let's turn that down a little bit. After I compress, I always gain stage. I don't know, though. Did we like the brightness a little bit better? Nah, we like that rich fullness. But yeah, Aiden says, I really need to get an under-desk MIDI keyboard holder so I can start playing my keyboard and stop wasting time automating the velocity. Yeah, dude. You know, what I did, and for anybody that's curious, okay, this desk right here, this desk with this pull-out, MIDI, and also you might not see, but up here is slots that is fitted for physical compressors and just various audio units. I don't have any fancy equipment like that. But basically, this is a desk that is designed for music production. I bought this online, it's a desk that is specifically fitted for music production. So aside from having this, specially designed rollout keyboard, it also has like brackets and braces underneath this top part up here, where you could fit like an LA2A or like an 1176 if you had a physical one, right? So I don't know, it's kind of cool. I went so long just like cooking up on whatever desk I could get my hands on, And by the time I was, building this studio here, this little in-home studio, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to buy a desk specifically for music production. Really glad I did, too. It really helps, Yeah. I want to get one, but my mom won't agree to let me get one. Tell her it's a study desk and send her the link for a production desk. I don't know, man. All right, let's start making some progress on the interaction between these drums and like this bass maybe. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I think I want to utilize some side chaining. So we're going to go ahead and set up our side chain signal. And, we could decide to use our snare. Let's see how it feels with that snare in the signal. And we'll decide otherwise. Let's start by sidechaining to the piano. Let's see. I think I am liking the snare. It's always a quick fix, though, if we decide not to use the snare in our side chain, right? And you know what? I want this a little bit tighter, and I want it a little bit deeper. I've already maxed out my ratio, but here's how I can get a deeper ratio. We just go copy, pasta, and boom, we've doubled our ratio. Maybe we tighten it on this second guy. Pull the threshold back a little bit more. I want to do some work on this snare. I don't know. This snare to me is feeling a little bit harsh. I feel like we could smooth that out a little bit. Let's pull out an EQ. Now let's go find the pain point. Well, it's somewhere around here. Yeah, I think it's somewhere like right there. If we just did a little divot. It feels a little bit more smoothed over, you know? But yeah, I see Aiden saying, well, the desk in my room is like 6 feet long. And I was sharing it with my big bro before he moved out. I know my mom wants to use his space as new space for my little brother's art equipment. I gotcha. One day you'll have your own desk. But yeah, giving me Out of the Cosmos vibes. Absolutely, Bubba Bubba. All right, let's move on from that. Let's A/B test what we just did, though. Yeah, I like it with this EQ. Okay. Might even like bring this up 1 decibel. Maybe we like bring the snare down by 1, but we brought the drums up as a whole by 1. Yeah, now these kicks feel a little bit. Oof. All right. Is there something that I want to do with these strings? I feel like maybe a little splash of reverb on these strings could really make them magical. I'm trying to think of what reverb would be the reverb. I'm kind of thinking Super Plate by Sound Toys. That's always got so many fun reverbs in there. But also there's a tried and true hall reverb that's just stock to Ableton that I really enjoy, and I'm just curious how it would sound on here. It's called Vocal Pop Hall. It's just a very clean hall reverb. Let's try it. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Cosmic Reverb. Yeah. I think that was right. It kind of brought it up in volume, so we're gonna like, regain stage it. That's awesome. What if we made it a little bit more uniform by like, I don't know. This might not work. We're going to try it though. We're going to try a little bit of sidechain on these strings. I bet it's going to stick out like a sore thumb in a good way, I'm hoping. We'll see. It does feel a little bit more gelled here. I don't know though. I heard like 1 hit in there that I just wasn't liking. What if we did, and I'm just curious because this will affect a lot of things. What if we did remove the snare from the sidechain signal? Wait, that's not working though. Oh, what? I had this set wrong the whole time. I was just thinking like this is kind of like it was halfway working, but there was a little bit of like shakiness that was like just not quite working. I didn't have it set to my sidechain on this second guy, or on both these guys actually. I had it set to my drums. This is why I should properly name things, so I won't look like a fool on YouTube. Oh, no. You guys didn't see anything. Much cleaner. Much cleaner. All right, and I think we also want to bring that down to that little synth stab. This guy. See, now it's starting to get a lot more uniform in how it's being sidechained, which makes the track as a whole feel kind of sampled. I don't know, it's very subconscious, but it feels very gelled. That as well. We'll do the same thing to that. was there anything that we wanted to do with this guy or this guy? Let's find out. See, this is another kind of like stringy element, kind of like these string swells over here. The vocal pop-haw sounded so good on these strings. I'm tempted to kind of try the same thing on this stringy synth, you know? And the benefits of using the same reverb on multiple instruments is it just sounds a little bit more uniform, you know? I don't know. Food for thought. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's against the rules to use different reverbs, right? But I don't know. Sometimes it just helps the track feel a little bit more uniform. I liked that. Let's see. So that was without. This with. Yeah, it just haunts a little bit more there. That's good. We might even turn up the reverb on this guy a little bit more. Woo! And we might turn this down a little bit. Cool. What is our max peak at? I'm just curious. Oh, good. We're like below 0, it looks like. Good. I think that guy we're going to leave alone. I kind of like the more dry feel on that guy. All right, but let's actually turn it down by 1 maybe. Yeah. There we go. Okay, man. This is the original thing that gave me the idea of sidechaining everything, you know, giving it that slight duck on those kicks. Let's take these guys and apply it down here, see how that feels. Ooh, and I did some trickery down here. We gotta hear this. Ooh, what? That's not how that's supposed to sound. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah, we did that shifter thing in the beginning, right? And so that right there is shifted down by 2 octaves. We obviously don't want that, so we're going to turn off the shifter. Now, I want to make something just apparent to you guys, because some of you guys are going to be like, wow, that's really clever. And then some of you guys are going to be like, wow, that's really limiting from a mix perspective. So what I did with this little vibraphone here is we delayed out the last note. So it's going, you know, doing all this, like this delay. We changed the rate of the delay, which causes it to bend upwards and go at twice the rate. Then we basically turned it off, and I sampled that delay down here, right? And I made like a melody out of it that sounds like this. Right? So that's kind of cool and all. It's just now it's like anything that we change to this has to be done to this. And we can't change anything that we've already done down here, which, as you can see, it has a lot of nonsense on here. Kind of gave it that fuzz. We're going to honestly probably leave this guy alone for the most. He sounds pretty good. There's maybe 1 or 2 things I wish I could change, but I don't want to disrupt the continuity of like what it sounds for this sample section, right? So, you know, like I said, pros and cons. It's kind of like cool trickery when it comes to the production, but also kind of limiting when it comes to the mixing, right? Alright, let's make sure this sounds good though. Oh, that's sick. All right. That's sounding pretty cool. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's focus in on this section and just make sure that we're liking, everything that we got here. You know what? I think with these, this is like a preset in Purity. It's called Busan City Keys. I usually just refer to them as the glam keys because they're very glamorous. I don't know. I use them a lot. Something that I love to do with the glam keys is I like them kind of bright and I like them kind of wide. But I'm not sure if we're going to go super wide on this, but I am thinking a little bit bright. We're just going to put a little bit of fresh air on it. That's it. I was very skeptical of this plugin at first. I thought it was snake oil, but I actually have been finding it pretty useful when I just want something to be a little bit more bright, Let's see. I gotta activate my iLock key. Silly me. All right. Okay, I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I do like that it's a little bit brighter. It gets a little bit, like, volume-wise, a little out of hand at some of these notes. I think I'm just going to throw on a compressor here, and we're going to try to normalize that a little bit. Maybe we'll try the 1176. Actually, maybe we go a little bit opposite. All right, let's A/B test what we just did with this fresh air and this 1176. We're gonna group these real quick, and we're just gonna flicker it on and off. I like it. We might need to gain stage this. I realize it's kind of making it a little bit louder. Let's add a utility to this group so that we can more effectively A/B test it. I think we like it. Let's take a look at this bass for a second. I realize I haven't really taken a good long look at the bass. Yeah, it looks like there's definitely some stuff we can do here. I want to try a little bit of compression first of all. We're going to bust out the LA2A for this one. We're going to put this before this. This is just here to automate the fade off, by the way. That's going to go last in the chain. All right, it's definitely stepped up in volume a bit. Oh, also, this isn't. There we go. Definitely sounds fatter, though. Let's turn it down a little bit. This might benefit from a little bit of EQing, maybe after the compression. I kind of want to do a little boost in the low end, kind of pull out some of that low shelf. I'll tell you guys what we're going to do. We're going to do something, maybe it's not so much a shelf, it's just like this boost where it really matters down here. Slight, though. And then I think I want to like tighten the Q knob here so we get a little bit more of a sharper incline. And I want to like kind of boost something in the mids that's going to help the notes be a little bit more identifiable. There's like a certain pluck towards the mid-range of this bass that I think just kind of helps the notes be a little bit more identifiable. Now, you guys can see I'm doing additive EQs here. We could have very well done subtractive EQs. Like we could have subtracted here and subtracted up here, and it would have been basically the same EQ. And I just wanted to kind of point this out about additive EQs and subtractive EQs. It's kind of two different ways of looking at the same thing, right? Like for every additive EQ you're doing, it could be the same as like a subtractive EQ. It kind of just depends of like your workflow, how you like to do things, you know? I do think that there are certain situations where I like to do subtractive EQs to kind of clamp down on certain things. In this case, though, we're kind of trying to bring out like certain aspects that we find pleasing about this, basically, you know? So that's kind of my thought process there. Yeah, so I want to find, like, where is that? Ooh, that actually sounded cool. See, there's, like, some stuff up here that's like, ooh, that kind of gives it some girt to it. I don't know. That is quite boosted up there, but I kind of like how that sounds, you know? My ears agree with it. I am curious, though, what if we did this before the EQ? I usually do additive EQs after the compressor, but I want to just try it before just to see what it feels like. I kind of like this. It's actually a little bit more normalized because it does kind of jump up in volume when it hits that higher note. This is cool, man. This is very cool. Might actually pull back a little bit on these top guys. And I think we're going to pull it down EQ. I mean, gain wise. Yeah. We don't want it to bury that kick, right? Oh, that's sick. That's sick. I still feel like we have like a little ways to go here. Let's pay attention to this guy right here. Is there anything else we wanted on this? Also, how do we feel about this vibraphone? I kind of feel like this might need to come down one, this glam keys. And it kind of helps that vibraphone stick out a little bit more. Yes. Okay. I think we got something really cool here, guys. Oh, I can't wait to feed this into a compressor, guys. That's, oh man, when we bust out that Shadow Hill compressor, it's gonna be spicy, I think. I hope. If we've done our homework right, we should probably do a little save as here, little mix V1. We got very far there in 40 minutes. That's farther than I was thinking we were gonna get in 40 minutes. Dang. Wow. Look at us move, guys. We're so effective. All right. Let's pull out the Shadow Hills master compressor. And let's see what this is going to feel like once we kind of squeeze on it a little bit. Get your mind out of the gutter. No. I swear, the way sometimes audio people talk about audio sounds highly suggestive. We're just going to squeeze on it a little bit, guys. Give it a nice, gentle squeeze. All right. Let's see. We want a little bit of sidechain on here. We're going to keep it in stereo mode. So we're only going to be using the left side of this compressor. Let's start with the optical compressor. Just a little gentle squeeze, you see. Let's get that discrete compressor going. Ooh. Now let's boost the gain a little bit. Ooh. Let's see where our max peak goes. How much we got here. We're paying attention to this bottom right. God, I love the sound of these drums, man. This is like one of my favorite kits. We got minus 2.83 is our max peak value. So we got, a little bit of space here. I think we're going to try to get it a little bit closer to 0, and then we're going to start feeding it into our maximizer. I'm hoping I can keep the mastering chain here a little bit simple, you know? I don't want to get too crazy with it. I feel like it's honestly, I feel like I've done a really good job with the mix if I can keep a nice, simple master chain. But we'll see how it turns out. Sometimes these things need a little extra love. Sometimes these things just sound better with a little extra love. But I think ideally, you know, we keep it kind of simple on the master chain. Yeah, let's just bring it all the way back to the beginning. I want to hear this intro with the Shadow Hills Master compressor. And again, we're paying attention to this bottom right little number down here. That's our max peak value. We just want it to stay below 0. Oh, it leaked. But that's about where it should be. Yeah, it's looking like we kept our max peak at minus 0.23. That's nice and snug. I want to, now we're going to like try to feed it into a maximizer. So let's bust out Ozone and we'll let it do its thing. We'll probably fuck with it a lot. That's okay, yeah. And we'll probably run it from like over here where we got the heavy bass and all that. So let's check it out. Now, quick little volume warning. This might jump up in volume, so I'm just warning you guys right now. Let's run it. Yikes, like I said. Oh, this actually sounds good. Wait. Did it actually for once get something right? Okay, I see what it's doing here. It brought the bass down. I could kind of agree with that. And you can see this kind of upward EQ. Like, so I usually, I don't know, I feel like it gets, a helpful EQ maybe like half the time, right? Most of the time I'm like turning this off and fucking with it, right? This I kind of agree with here. I see what it's saying. Like, okay, let me bring down that bass a little bit. And this slope upwards kind of makes it the master feel a little bit brighter, right? We should A/B test it though. Yeah, this feels like a lot more like bright air over here. I kind of like that, yeah. Alright, let's fix this though. And let's listen for pops and crackles. We'll also start measuring our LUFS. really good for the most part. We got to run it back from the beginning, though. There was like maybe one section in like one note of that bass that kind of caused question. A little bit of a cause for concern. Almost kind of like crackled in a way we didn't want. Let's run it back from the beginning. And we're going to listen for pops, crackles again, and we're going to get a more complete measurement of our LUFS, what we are aiming for, and it's this number right here. So we're aiming for something that's about minus 10 LUFS, or, a little bit higher than that would be great. I will take as low as minus 10.5. I'm not super specific on like what LUFS it needs to be, right? As long as it sounds great and it is within the range of my discography, then it's great, So just like 3 things that we're just looking for. We're looking for this LUFS. By the way, I just want to double, triple check. There's no way that this should pop up above 0, but I always just like to keep an eye on the max peak value. And then, I don't know, we just want to listen for crackles and pops, and, there might be stuff we have to troubleshoot. So, let's listen. You see, that was a little... Let's pause it. That was a little crackle right there, right on that entrance note. Now, I have a clever little workaround that I think is going to smooth that over. And it's called, let's throw a wrench at it. By that, I mean, let's just turn down the volume on that first note. There's no reason why it has to be that loud. If that's causing problems for our entire master, it might be a worthwhile compromise to just kind of nudge this down a little bit. Let's just like bring that down like that much. I think that's solved, right? But let's bring it back a little bit further. Let's make sure that we're good. You see, it's kind of tricky. I heard a little bit of crackle there. It was a little bit better, though. We're getting better. Didn't feel super, like, less impactful or anything. We're just gonna, like, nudge that down a little bit more. Okay, let's bring it back where it was. Let's see. We're listening for the crackle on that first bass note. See if it pops again. That was much better. It's not totally perfect, but guys, we're not making pop music, okay? We're making boom bap. Let's work with what we got here. See, that feels good. That feels good. Alright, let's actually bring it back to the beginning. Let's get our LUFS value, man. Let's make sure that we are getting this all squared away. Alright. We want this to be minus 10 LUFS. Now, if the full song was just that snippet we listened to, we would be golden. But we got to listen, we got to measure our LUFS, including the intro, including the bridge, including the outro, Like I said, kind of a range between like minus 10.5. I'll take up to minus 8, but I don't think we're going to be getting there, And quite honestly, I don't think it needs to be that loud. But let's just see where we are at. I'll also just pull up the Shadow Hills Master compressor because I think it looks pretty, man. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. All right, let's check it out. So this is the value we're paying attention to, the LUFS. We want this to get up to like -10. Yeah, and we're pretty much in the range. I might shove it up there a little bit further with like an extra limiter on the end. Just like throw a limiter on there and then just shove it into the ceiling a little bit, right? Yeah, because you can see we're at like -10.8. Let's see if we can raise that a little bit. I would love to get it a little bit closer to -10. So here's the plan. We're just going to pull out just any old limiter, just Ableton's stock limiter. It's nice and clean, and it does the job great. We're going to set it to true peak, and we're going to make sure that the ceiling is set at 0 dB. But we're going to push it up by about 1 decibel. Let's see what the LUFS is now. And also listen for quality, right? We're listening for pops and crackles and stuff, just as we always are, right? So again, just to recap, we're looking for this value to be -10. That would be great. Right now, we're at -10.8, but we just slapped a limiter on there, shoved it a little bit into the roof. Yeah, if this works out, that'll be golden. Let's also bust out that Shadow Hills just to look at it, because it's pretty, man. All right, let's check it out. Okay, fingers crossed. See, in this section, it's awesome. We got like, in the short-term LUFS, it's like up there. It's feeling good. God, I just love the sound of this kick, man. That kick is so good. I like it. Damn, I think we did it. Let's see where the LUFS settles, though. It's gonna go down on the outro, right? But it's okay. Like, we really got there. Okay, it's dropping a little bit. -10.4. That is golden. Man, I love this track. I love this track so much. Oh, I can't wait to release this, man. This one's going to be coming out on BeatStars for anybody that's curious. If anybody here's a rapper, connect with me. You know, I got my BeatStars listed below. Everything you hear on this stream is available for you guys to rhyme. So just want to let you guys know. Hey, Signature, what's up, dude? Says, yo, love those shimmering strings. Thank you, man. Also, what's up, Willie Clark? How you doing, man? He says, you really good, bro. Thank you so much, dude. I am humbled, man. Thank you so much, dude. Let's go. Okay, man. All right, that was the first of 3 beats that we're doing today. And we're gonna open up the next project. Now, I just wanted to say, before we move on to this next project, I pick my beats out in advance, right? Out of like the 200 demos that I have on deck. And I don't know what's coming next, guys. I picked these out like earlier this week. I have no idea what beat we're about to hear next. So we're gonna find out together. It's gonna be good. Yeah, XXS SXX asks, I thought you're supposed to aim for -7. Now that's a good question. It's really, really genre dependent. All right, very genre dependent. So like, if you're gonna make like an EDM beat, a dubstep beat, something like that, you probably want it a little bit in the ballpark of other beats in the genre, right? Which, yeah, man, like I see some EDM producers and dubstep producers push it up to something stupid like -5, you know? Now, the norm for like lo-fi music specifically, right? Lo-fi, nice chill, man. It's chill. It's background, you know? And I know this specifically because I've worked with lo-fi record labels, and they will give me requirements on like, we need it between this LUFS value and this LUFS value, right? And for most lo-fi music, I'll tell you this, it's usually between -14 and -12 LUFS, right? Now, I think the only thing that matters, though, is that for your discography, you choose a range for your music, and you say, okay, my music as a whole is going to stay between this range and that range, you know? He's like, I'm joking, of course. I'm dense, man. I'm not picking up on the sarcasm. He's like, great mix. Clip it before limiter for that extra crunch. Oh no, I'm not touching this thing, man. I think we got the job done. He's like, and you'll get it at -0. This man. Everybody listen to this man. Oh man. You know, a little bit of extra seasoning never hurts, man. All right, let's see what our next beat is going to be. Also, let's just save this. We got to save it, of course. Now, again, I picked these beats out that I'm going to mix today like a little while ago. I cannot remember for the life of me what beats we're going to mix. So we're going to find out together what this next beat is, you know. This next one is song 964. Let's, you see, these aren't even named, man. These aren't even named. Let's go dig it up, and let's find out together. I genuinely have no clue what beat we're about to pull up. So, let's see. Come on, load. You got this, man. All right, here we go. Let's go sift through all this crap. Let's see, 966, right? That's what I had on my list. 964. Yeah, we just did 966. Okay, so 964. Boop. There we go. Open. All right. Let's get this. Let's get this show on the road. Let's see how long this takes to load. It shouldn't take too long. I'm actually borrowing my wife's laptop. She's got a newer Mac than I do. She's got one of the nice like Macs with the M2 chip. Really nice. Look at that. It's already loaded. Holy crap, man. Well, almost loaded. It's thinking. There we go. All right, again, I have no clue what this sounds like. Let's find out together. First listen through, and let's see what we're mixing here. Oh, I remember this. Okay, it's going to be a little quiet, I think. think I remember this. I'm so excited to mix this. If you were to call this a type beat, what would you type it as? I'm just curious. What kind of type beat would this be? Thinking maybe a Tribe Called Quest beat, maybe. I don't know. I don't produce while aiming for any sort of like type beat sound, you know, but SEO, you know, marketing, I guess, demands that I call it a type beat if I want rappers to hear it. Dude, that is so cool. This is like a very low-key beat, you know? Oh, very low-key, very cool, you know? But yeah, I see SXX saying, I just know it works good with the ganja I'm smoking. Hell yeah, man. It's been stoner approved, dude. Hell yeah. All right, let's see. What do we have going on here? Like I said, I always like to start at the beginning. I also saw that we had like, it was like a little bit above 0 dB, but also this track sounds kind of quiet. I think part of it is this sub bass is just massive. I kind of have an idea for how we might get this sub bass like to still be huge, but to not like take up, like suck out of like the lufs out of the room, you know? So yeah, this is like the first thing I want to kind of deal with. You can see it's like up here, right? It's really up here. I think really what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of compression on it to kind of normalize as it's going between tracks. So like a common issue that I'm sure all of you guys have run into at some point. Some of your sub bass notes like really hit. Some of your sub bass notes like kind of miss because they're just not as resonant. One way that you can really cut down on that and like kind of normalize the sound a little bit is just by compressing it like a decent amount. You know, compression, it takes the ceiling of the volume and the floor of the volume and kind of just squeezes on it, right? So we're gonna do that. And I think with this sub bass, I like to use the 1176. I might try the LA2A, but we'll see. Plugins, let's try this. So yeah, I usually like to start at the beginning, but this time I'm just starting with this bass right away. Kind of getting the foundation in place, right? Let's see, what do I usually like to do in terms of bass? There's the bass in your face. We'll probably change this. I'm just using this at a starting point. Okay, starting to get it there. And this actually brought it down like a decibel or two. It was peaking at like -3. It's at like -4.7 right now. Oh man, I really hope I'm gonna have to car test this later. I really want this to like rattle your car, you know? Yeah, signature's like nice. Dude, like that's the mark. I feel like when I go for like sub basses, I want it to shatter your car windows, you know? All right. And then one other thing that we can do to kind of like, I don't know, brute force it into the ceiling. We could try limiting this bass a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know. We'll try it out. I'm not entirely certain. Oops, that was the wrong track. You know, I might want to name these at some point. All right. Ooh, a little bit of soft clip there. There we go. Use square wave, cut it down to 100 hertz. Oh, good God, square wave. I don't think that's gonna be the vibe for this. Let's see. All right, I feel like we just gave ourselves a little bit more room in the ceiling, you know, because we took one of the loudest elements and we like compressed it and then limited it, and it still sounds really present, you know. But we did shave like a couple of decibels off of that bass, actually, you know. Super, super useful. All right, let's check out these chops of like this. I guess it's an organ. Oh, and already I'm kind of hearing a little bit of clip. Let's just adjust that fade in. Okay, part of that's also just part of the sample, but I feel like, man, we need to give this a little bit more like brightness to it. First of all, let's just check it out in the EQ, right? We're just gonna like pull out this EQ. Let's get rid of this guy. That was just something we were experimenting with while we were producing. So like something that I could do, right? See how concentrated it is down here, and we kind of want a little bit more up here. We could just clamp down on this guy, basically. Yeah, a little bit of that, but for the compression. And I am also kind of curious. This might be one of those things that if you just like OTT it a little bit, it could be sick. Willie's like, it needs more cowbell, you know? Good. Why didn't I think of that, guys? Why didn't I think of that? God, now I got to give Willie producer credits on this and just, man. Oh, that's way too much. That's not gonna be cool. But, okay, we turned down the depth. That might be kind of slick. I don't know. We gotta hear it a little bit more. All right. Ooh. I am actually liking how this multi-band compressor is like bringing out some of the, like we kind of added a little bit to this high range by doing this. In fact, we might even be able to bring this down a little bit. Yeah. damn, I just love hip-hop music, man. Like, this is like my favorite shit in the world. Just like this very smooth bump. And it's just got like some very like odd sounds in it. Ooh, nice. Okay, so I think I want to plan ahead. So like we got this guy a little bit in the right ear. This guy over here was like left ear. Or, I mean, it was dead center. And you see, it kind of feels like the left versus right balance is like a little bit off. We might want to kind of scoot this around. The thing is, though, is we don't have anything in the right ear over in this section. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? Does not need to be perfect, but we could probably help that left versus right balance out a little bit. You see, this is something that I think we could just kind of like slip off to the left. Yeah, and you know what's kind of nice about that is like we're leaving room in the center for the vocalist to be like spitting some bars. Yeah, gluing nicely. Hell yeah, man. Oh, I feel like this is gonna sound really immaculate once we get to that compressor on the master, you know? It's gonna like just, it's gonna really glue it. Because it's already feeling really good, you know? And I feel like this is what people mean when they say, like, you know, the master can only be as good as the mix. Really, the better the mix is going to be, the better the master is going to be. If it's sounding glued in the mix, oh, man, by the time you just gently squeeze it in the master, it's going to, like, it's going to sound good. Oh, and that's perfect because we got this like off in the right ear. That's actually, yeah, we did have some in the right ear. Okay, now, I gotta be a little bit weary here, okay? Thinking ahead, this beat is going to go on BeatStars. Ideally, I'm gonna get some rappers on here. They're gonna be the center of attention, right? So we ideally kind of want to, like, make this sax a little bit more minimal and a little bit out of the way, right? I mean, it's beautiful, and I actually like how it's processed right now. It's kind of like, yeah, it's got this vinyl processing on it. That's pretty good. I think really more the strategy here is we're going to move it off to the right a little bit. Maybe turn it down, you know, just kind of tone it down a little bit. Because somebody needs to rap over this, right? And you guys might notice, the more that you put something off to the side, like the more that we move the saxophone in the right ear, the louder it's going to sound in that right ear, right? So I think anytime that you're spacing things out like this, I highly encourage that you like gain stage once more after you get it in the position you want it at, right? We're not going to put it too far off to the right, but definitely over here somewhere. And then we're going to turn this group down. Woo! All right, let's kind of put all this together, make sure that it's sounding good. Man, I made this beat like a while ago. Sometimes I just surprised by myself, you know? I don't know. I'm just really vibing with this beat today. I feel like we've had 2 back-to-back that are just like these really great beats that I'm like super excited to hear bars on. All right. This is like maybe the only part that feels like it's kind of sticking out odd to me. We do have this primal tap on here. This is kind of like doing some... Yeah, so this is like really spreading it out. And then we have this filter freak. Let's get rid of that echo boy there. We know we didn't use that. I'm just curious if it's way more manageable if I just monoed it. Maybe. I'm not sure if that's really what we want to do. It could be that we just make this a lot more subtle, right? We just like turn it down a little bit. Make it more of a background detail. And yeah, this does provide texture. Woo! Okay. Yeah, love sound toys. Yeah, I'm with you, Signature. Honestly, one of my best purchases that I've made in terms of plugins is just the Sound Toys, like, full set of plugins, you know? I swear, those plugins are probably my most used at the moment. And it's like, they just do such unique things that I really can't find other replacements for. Like, that Primal Tap is just so off the wall, you know? Filter Freak is like, I don't know, so much more diverse and interesting than... I will give Ableton Live this. They recently updated their autofilter, and yeah, it's starting to kind of compete with Filter Freak, but I still like Filter Freak because you can just kind of get some really off-the-wall filters with it. Let's see. So I'm feeling pretty content with this section here. You see, we're starting to work our way into this track. Let's scoot this a little bit further right. Maybe. Okay, so I was just thinking that sax exits to the right. The first thing that we hear is this little like steel drum-esque thing, this little lo-fi steel drum that also enters in the right ear. It might be better if that enters in the left, but that means we're probably going to want to swap where this comes in, right? So like these two, but if we swap these two, we're also gonna have to swap this guy. All right, wow, we're gonna swap a lot here for just one minor detail, but it's all about those transitions and how things feel going into each other, right? So let's try this one at a time. Let's not biff this. Let's keep track of what we're trying to move around. I don't know, this just feels like the more dominant thing here, and I feel like this would sound better in the left ear. So here's what we're going to do. This is 14 right. We're going to set this 14 left. This guy is 13 left. We're going to set this guy 13 right. Now, this guy counters this guy, which is 28 right. We're going to send this guy 28 left. And I see that he's like already 7 right there. Wow, we're going to have to change a lot about him. 28 left. And this is going to change to 7 left. I don't know why I had it that way, split, but that's okay. How do we feel about this? That means that this guy is going to have to go 14 right. We basically just switched everything except for the saxophone. I hope I made the right decision here, but, you know, it's all about trying things. 13 right. We might actually set this further on the outside. You know, scratch it. Scratch it! I'm not enjoying how all of that sounds. Let's undo it one at a time. All right. Actually, no, we're going to do this the other way. We're not just going to click undo, undo, undo. We're going to say this guy. No, that guy was 13 left. That guy's 13 right. This guy was always 14 left. Or was he? No. So this is where I just like screwed up a lot of my work, right? Maybe we do undo until we are there. Yeah, so that guy was in the left. We're gonna undo until that guy is 13 right. Let's just make sure. We're almost home free. Almost home free. This guy is going to go 13 left. This guy is going to go 28 right. And let's see, there was another layer to this. This is going to go 7 right. Let's just double, triple check that we got everything sitting here, how we liked it. Yeah, okay, I think we're back. I almost screwed everything up trying to like swap everything to change how it traded, you know? Yeah, this guy is off in the left ear, and this guy's also in the left ear. We were going to put this guy back in the right, 14 right. We're going to turn this guy down instead. Okay, I'm thinking with this melody, we might really introduce like a really satisfying reverb to him. Let's get that clean pop hall out. It's a little bit too much. Let's instead pull out Super Plate. Yeah, Super Plate by Sound Toys. Here we go. Thinking either the stereo tube or the mono tube. Let's try it both ways. Stereo tube first. Okay, now let's try the mono tube. Clean. I kind of like monotube, honestly. Nice. So now we're going to turn that guy down a little bit. And I think that this plucky, this like steel drum-ish thing, I think this guy could come down a little bit more as well. We're trying to get everything really compact into about the same range. If anything sticks out, it kind of makes everything else sound small, right? Thinking, what if we compressed this guy that has like the crazy filter on it, but then we like really turn it down, make it pretty low key, but we're gonna squeeze it quite a bit. I'm thinking the 1176 for this guy. Yeah, that feels about the right idea. Yeah, just like that. Well, that feels a lot more full and like pressurized, but now we're gonna make it pretty low key. A reverse on the horns might sound cool with some chops. I think I'm kind of like satisfied with the production on this track. You know, I'm really just focused on the mix today. Let's see. I think this is about the volume level that I'm sitting at. Like, trying to keep it pretty low key, kind of tucked away. Ooh, yeah. This is starting to really get in a good range that I feel like once we really come to like compress this is gonna really squeeze together nicely. Okay. That mono verb is kind of making this sound a little bit more mono. We might like, and I'm cool with that. But I would like to feel this a little bit more in the left ear. Let's see if we can kind of scoot it. Just barely scoot it, you know? And as you guys know, like I've been saying, like the more you scoot something off to the side, it's gonna sound louder, right? So we're gonna like try to bring that down. There we go. Wanted to look at the drums real quick. Honestly, these drums are sounding really good dry. Yeah, you know, and something else to keep in mind when mixing is like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Leave it, you know? And I think that's really what I'm looking for. Ooh, you know what? One thing that we can fix, though. I think I want to fix this fade out a little bit. You guys can see we kind of have this S shape. I personally actually don't like this S shape because by the time that we get to this point, like down here, it's basically like, why do we even have that part of the track? Like, you're not really hearing it, you know? Rather, a little bit of a different way that I like to fade. So, you know, basic slant, right? But we're going to curve the first half of this and let the second half ride out. And it's just going to feel like a slightly fuller fade out, you know? Very minute thing, but I just really like to do this, you know? Let's play around with this. Let's maybe like, yeah, get this right here, like -1. Then we're going to go -3. Then we're going to double it, -6. And then we're pretty much just going to let it ride. Like, that's close enough to -12. That's like, ooh, we got this nice slope and then fade out. Perfect. Okay. Man, I think that's sounding really good. Let's double, triple check our work. Let's also pay attention to our max peak value. Make sure that it is going to stay below 0. If you guys are curious what we are paying attention to right here, we're paying attention to this number right here in the bottom right corner, right where my mouse is. As long as that stays below 0, we're golden, you know? So let's check it out. Let's see where we're at. Minus 1.24. We're doing good so far. God, I really love how this kick and this sub bass fit together, you know? Like the kick has enough mid-range bite to cut through, but it still has some low-end punch to it. That sounds amazing. All right. I think it's time to start squishing it into a compressor, you know? And, you know, I think in terms of master and, like, LUFs that we're trying to aim for, this one, I think I would be okay with minus 11 LUFs. This is a pretty low-key track. Like, we can kind of lean into that with the mastering of it. We don't need to make it this crazy thing, right? It's pretty low key. It's pretty cool. Let's keep it that way, right? So let's pull out, say it with me, the Shadow Hills Master Compressor, as we do. Yeah, let's start messing with it. We're definitely going to want that side chain. We're going to keep it in stereo mode, so we're only going to be working with this left side. We're going to start by adjusting the optical compressor, and then we're going to move into the discrete, and then we're going to start boosting gain. So let's just do this. We're going to start over here where the drums drop in the bass. All right, let's play with it. And we're just really trying to gently squeeze it like that. All right, let's see if this stays below 0 dB on its max peak value. Oh man, this bass is crazy with this compressor. Woo! All right, we're at minus 0.94 with our max peak. See, can it stay below? Man, we're looking good here. Yeah. I'm a little worried about getting it up to even minus 11 LUFs, but we'll see. All right, yeah, looks like our max peak value was minus 0.94. Now, I think before we start, smashing it into a limiter, not sure if we're going to totally smash it, but we're going to try to get it a little bit closer to 0. And I think really, I do want to give it a little bit of breathing room. Sometimes I feel like this Shadow Hills Master compressor is a little bit unpredictable. So I think really the game plan is let's boost it by 0.8 dB, right? See if that gets us a little bit more snug up in our max peak value, a little bit closer to 0. So let's say 0.8. All right. Let's Let's bring it back also. I want to hear this intro with this compressor on. Let's check it. Popped 0.18. I told you guys the Shadow Hills master compressor is like a little bit unpredictable at times, right? All right. I see. Let's decrease it by 0.2. Let's call it 0.6. Yeah, we had it at 0.8. We're gonna pull it back to 0.6 on our little dB boost on the master chain. Just trying to get that max peak a little bit closer to the top before we continue with our chain, basically. Let's run it from where the drums drop in. May as well pull out our loudness meter and just start monitoring it a little bit. By the way, if you guys want a free loudness meter, Uline Loudness Meter 2. It is free. You can have the same one that I use. I think it's pretty nifty. Alright, we're paying attention to this value right down here in the bottom right. Making sure that stays below 0. So, let's see. And you can see on our left, so we definitely have some work to do here. Cool, and it's looking like our max peak is gonna, sit down nicely, so cool. All right. Let's run. Let's run some ozone on it. Really, I just want to use the maximizer. I can already predict it is going to do some nonsense with the EQ, given how bass heavy this track is. So we'll probably have to do a lot of fixing and whatnot, but whatever. I like the maximizer in ozone. Great limiter. We're going to run it anyways just to get a rough ballpark estimate and see what it spits out. But, I predict this is going to go horribly, but let's check it out. All right, loudness warning. Okay, this might get a little bit loud. Protect your ears. Just warning you guys. Let's check it out. Let's see what it does. It's already not sounding great. And yep, that's exactly what I thought it was gonna do. All right, well, let's pull this, let's fix this. Okay, first of all, ceiling at 0. We don't want it below 0, quite honestly. I know some people like to keep like 1 dB in their ceiling. To me, I'm like, fuck it. Why not use all the volume that we can? I like doing that. All right, and then we got to pull back on this threshold. It's sounding crackly and crazy, man. And then we're going to A/B test this EQ. I have a feeling I'm not going to like it, though. I guess it does kind of tame that bass in a way that makes it a little bit more appealing for the maximizer, but not sure I'm a fan of this, though. Get out of the way, dude. Get out of the way. There we go. Okay. Let's try a different mode of limiting here. This is supposed to be like smoother and richer. Yeah. Intelligent Release Control 1, smooth and thick limiting for a rich sound. I like that. As opposed to clear and sharp limiting to preserve peaks. The second mode kind of gives me issues sometimes in terms of clippingness, you know. Like that. God, it feels like if it barely grazes the threshold, it's just... See, you can kind of hear those clicks in there. But you can definitely hear that the maximizer is doing some work here. It's just... Alright, we're gonna have to bust out some tools here. Let's start limiting after the maximizer. I kind of have an idea. Okay, this is kind of a wild idea, and this might completely destroy the master. I'm not going to lie. We got to be careful with this one. But, man, sometimes if you put a little dash of, like, saturation or distortion on your master, it can, like, do a couple things. It can really energize the track, and it can raise the LUFS. It can kind of make it a little bit louder. Oh, is that what we want to do? Is that the ticket? Let's bust out Little Radiator by Sound Toys. Love this on the master sometimes. And I think I'm going to try doing this after the maximizer. And we're going to try to see how this feels. Like I said, we're going to try to use this in sparing amounts. Very sparing amounts. You can really feel it on that bass, right? Maybe we do this. Maybe we, so we compress, we raise it close to 0, we maximize, we limit, we distort, we limit again. That might be the ticket. Let's find out. Let's say like this. Bring that ceiling up. There we go. And we're going to try to be even more sparing with this, I think. Do we want bias? Just to show you guys what this is doing, I'm like turning the wet all the way up. Okay, crazy, right? We don't like that, but listen what it does to the bass. If you totally want a fart bass, I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like that's kind of a vibe, right? Maybe not, but it is quite tempting, right? And like a little dash of that can kind of be cool. See, like I said, we got to be super, super careful here, man. Like, we're going to totally destroy this beautiful mix we did. Oh, if we're not careful. But it does, like, add a little splash of excitement to it. I think this is reasonable. Let's get a LUFS measurement here. like minus 11 LUFS. Boy, by the way, thank you, Willie. I'm like, I've been locked in on this mix, man. Just locked in on this, trying to anything to get it up there, you know. Alright, it's at like minus 11.6 right now. I do want a little A/B test. Oh man, we do have to get moving on to that last beat here. But I want to just turn off this distortion and see how it feels. And see how like much smaller it is than minus 11.6. I might settle for quieter LUFS, because this is kind of a delicate track. It's low key. Kick on that radiator. Just adds a little bit of excitement to it. All right, let's run it one more time. Oh, man. This one's been kind of a wild ride trying to master it. Jeez. Looks like it. All right, you know what? I'm gonna take that. minus 11.6. Why not? I really do not expect for this track to get much louder than that. So let's oh my god, have I not done a little save as? Naughty. Let's mix V1. All right, we got one more that we're trying to do today. And again, I have no idea what this next beat is going to be. I picked it out a little while ago, and I cannot for the life of me remember what the beat is. So we're going to find out together what the last beat is. Now, real quick, I'm going to go grab a little bit of coffee, and we're going to try to speed through this last one. In the meantime, let me play you guys the Song of My People. And by that, I mean my most popular song on Spotify, Lost in Reverie. If you guys don't know, I am TapDaddy outside of YouTube. If you're trying to find my music, you can find me as TapDaddy on all platforms. So I'm going to just go heat up some coffee real quick. I'll be like 2 seconds, and then we're going to dive into this last track and see what beat we're hitting on this last one. So I'll be 2 seconds. All right. Just in time for the end of the song. Perfect. All right, so we got one more today. One more track. Boy, and we got like 50 minutes to do it now. I'll stay until this last one is mixed. Let me triple check what this last beat is going to be. It's going to be song 953, which I have no idea what beat that is. Like I said, we're going to find out together. I don't know. Let's load it. I probably should have gotten this loading beforehand, but you know. But yeah, let's see what this last one is, and let's lock another one in. Another one for the Beat Stars, you know? So, all right. Song 953. Yeah, I can't for the life of me remember what this beat was, what it sounded like. I picked it out to mix today, like a long while ago. So we're going to find out together. Let's see. Open, and let's see what we're going to be mixing next. All right. Oh, man. Oh, wow. That loaded quick. All right. So it looks to me like a nice, simple, easy sample chop. Let's hear it. All right. First listen through. You guys are hearing it for the first time with me. Oh, I think I remember this. Yeah.
TapDaddy.
Yeah, this one's gonna be easy and challenging at the same time, I think. Because, this is like really just like a sample chop. Like, this was a super easy beat. Super simple. Wasn't meant to be super complex. It's just like, I found a good, like, sample and just chopped it, But let's make sure it sounds spiffy. I hear a little bit of work that we're going to need to do. Woo! Hell yeah. Jay-Z beat. Hell yeah. Thank you, Signature. It might come out as a Jay-Z type beat. I don't know. I guess I gotta call everything a type beat if I want rappers to actually hear it. How do you guys feel about type beats? I'm just curious. I feel like people have so many opinions about them. And to me, I just make music without aiming for a specific sound necessarily. But at the end of the day, if I want to get these in the hands of rappers, the unfortunate reality is that you have to name it a type beat of sorts if you want it to come up in what people are searching, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Ah, sick. Okay, I like this. I like this one, man. I like it. All right, let's see. One thing that I kind of noticed is that this intro sounds super full, right? But the actual beat kind of sounds a little bit thin in comparison. I'm just curious how we might fix that. You see, this, honestly, it's like not many tracks at all. You guys are looking at everything. Which, like, that's the main challenge that I'm, like, gonna kind of lock in on right here is, like, how can we make it so that this, sounds full and still cool like it does? Like, oh, my God, this is blasted through, I believe it's just, like, OTT grouped together, this sample and this applause. All right, God, I always slip my tag in here. All right, but listen to this transition. All right, what did we do with this guy? This guy didn't have any bass underneath it. It does, though. It does have a little bit of bass. Okay, I've got some strategy in mind. I'll show you guys how we, some tricks that a lot of us boom bap producers are doing to, you don't have the stems to your sample material. Like, very, very rarely are you gonna have stems to stuff that you're sampling, right? But there's some workarounds that you can do to, like, really, make the bass fat, the mid-range colorful, and so we're gonna kind of try to get into that. I think just to start with, though, I want to turn this intro down a little bit, right? I think that will right off the bat kind of help, Yeah, and I see Signature was saying whatever promotes it. I was asking about type beats, how do you guys feel about type beats? Yeah, you see, Signature's got the right idea here. I feel like, and I totally understand where people are coming from when they say stuff like, oh, why don't you just be original? Why don't you just make your own beats? And I think a lot of people kind of have the wrong idea about type beats and how they're made and what, I guess I will acknowledge that there are some producers that go into a session trying to sound like Jay-Z or trying to sound like whatever so-and-so type beat. Most of the people that I know, and myself included, I'm just making beats with my sound. And it's kind of an afterthought. It's kind of like afterwards I ask myself, like, who do I imagine, on this beat? Is it like MF Doom or like whatever, right? And that's ultimately how I might name a track. I think it's just like a matter of, though, like, exactly what Signature said, whatever promotes it. Because at the end of the day, I kind of wish there were other ways that I could get these in front of rappers, in a searchable context. And I always, sometimes when rappers say that, like, oh, like make your own beats. I always tell them, when you guys stop searching type beat, I will stop labeling them type beat. That's how this works, right? We're chasing what people are searching, right? I don't know. That's my 2 thoughts on it. But anyways, let's get this group down a little bit. Let's see. I'll turn my tag down with it. We'll turn these down together. Woo! Okay. A little bit closer. I see we're peaking, right? So I think like the game plan is like, yeah, we're gonna have a much more accurate way of gain staging that intro once we do our work on the beat itself, right? Now I'm gonna highlight everything here. I'm gonna highlight it like this because we want to grab that group together. And what was the max peak? It was like 1.58. We want to give ourselves some room as well. So basically, we're going to just like turn everything down by 1, 2. Okay, now it's under the max peak. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're like, 4 under the max peak. 7, 8, 6 under the max peak. That'll give us some room that we can like turn things up, push things down, whatever. We got plenty of headroom now. Yeah, it's a little bit quieter. If you need to turn up your headphones, I encourage it, Let's see. So first thing I want to do here is I want to separate the low end from the mid-range here. Now, we've got some automations of stuff. What is this? This is a compressor. This is phase. Okay, why was this? Okay, I've got to make sense of something real quick. I need to understand why I did something here. So as you can see, we got this phase going like right here and right here, right? This is just Phase Mistress by Sound Toys. Love this thing. Lovely, lovely. I see I compressed this over here, thinking like, I'm pretty sure what I was thinking when I was producing this was, we were getting some kind of volume differences in like while it was phasing, and I wanted to try to normalize that. I don't understand why I didn't do it over here. It might just be that I forgot, and I want to like make a decision now about that before we go any further. Wait, what was this? This is off here. This is on here. Okay, so this applies to all the sections that are not phased. This was applying over here. Okay. We're going to try swapping the, I just want to see how different these are set. Ooh, yeah, we had quite a bit more peak reduction on this guy. Okay, I see what's going on here. So this is the second guy that is on during that first section. We had a lot more peak reduction. Okay. All right. So I'm getting a lay of the land before we start making our moves, right? Okay. So let's let's try something here. Let's try over here. We're going to turn this compressor off, this one with the smaller peak reduction. And we're going to turn this guy on with the higher peak reduction. And we're going to just see how that feels in this section. This one's obviously a little bit louder because it has less peak reduction. I think this kind of makes sense. I think I knew what I was doing when I produced this. Yeah, feels nice and continuous. Okay, so how I had it to begin with was the right answer. It's just a little odd. That's okay. That's okay. All right, so this one down here, though, this is exactly the same. I'll show you guys what we're about to do. Before all of the phasing and compression, we're going to do an EQ cut, okay? We're going to cut this two ways. We're basically making our own multiband, except we're multibanding our different tracks. This is going to be our low end. Oh shit, and I also see that we don't have any like fade in on these. And we're going to need a little fade out because we have some slices that play all the way out. Okay, we'll try to set this similarly. Doesn't matter too much if they're exactly the same. Just as long as they have a little bit of fade in and fade out to kind of help any clicking sounds. Wow, this is actually a pretty clean isolation. All right, that seems pretty good to me. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this EQ. We're going to bring it over here, put it exactly in the same spot of the chain in this top guy, but we're going to switch the direction of this filter. So I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. Okay. So now this guy is only the high parts. What's nice about this is now we can treat these separately. We got our bass and our mid-range, basically. Mid and highs. So let's just start by bringing up that bass. Okay, and we are going to actually do our compression a little bit differently. Down here, we're going to really compress it. We're going to get rid of this second compressor. We're going to bring this guy over here. We want this after the phasing. We're going to get rid of that automation that turns it off there. We do want the compression. Basically, we want this bass to really bump. All right, and I think we're gonna have to do something with these drums. First of all, I am curious if we cut the highs. Is that a little bit more palatable? Now, I think we do want those highs. It gives a lot of definition. Now, there is one thing about the snare that's kind of bothering me. It's a little harsh, you know? Okay, let's go find that pain point, right? And then we're gonna, when we isolate, like once we find where that harshness is coming from, we're gonna create a little bit of a bell curve here. So like, ooh, yeah, about there. Yeah, that's the pain point at like 2.5k hertz. So at about 2.5k hertz, we're gonna bring it down a little bit. Let's tighten that curve a bit. That's like way more satisfying on the ears. It's subtle, but you know, if you get your volume up. Might even turn this a little bit further. And I think on top of that, we're going to turn the snare down just like 1 decibel. And I think we're going to bring this kick up a little bit. So there is a hi-hat up here. I want to kind of like just bring that down slightly. Let's see if we can get this slightly above where the bass is hitting. Where's that? It's at about 245. It's like the top of the bass. Okay, so... Kind of an odd, lumpy looking EQ, but trust me, for this kick, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, I do think we want to do a little bit of compression on this, on these drums just as a whole. We might even experiment with like room reverbs, just like the tiniest dash of like a width reverb or something. We'll see what we're feeling here. But first of all, let's pull out that LA2A. I think that might lift this in a satisfying way. It does bring that snare up, you know, that is something to consider, but let's turn this off for now. Let's go experimenting with like reverb. Let's pull out Superplay. I think Superplay may have had some interesting like drum space kind of reverbs in there somewhere. Let's just sift through some presets and see if we can get close somewhere. Like a tight drum plate, that sounds... Ooh. See, that could be satisfying. Okay, you know, I'm like kind of getting in the weeds with this. This is starting to sound like some pretty tasty drums. I feel like it just needs to get gain staged back into the track. Remember, loudness is all relative. Right now, these drums are like pretty loud compared to the rest of the track. We're gonna turn them down, but don't worry, like it's gonna bump in the track, right? And I kind of like having this after the reverb. It kind of lifts up that reverb tail, but let's try it beforehand. This might be a little bit more reasonable, quite honestly. Let's hear that transition again. Yeah, that's nice. I am really kind of curious if there's like a fun way we could color the mids and mid-highs of this sample material, kind of like we just did in that last master where we added a splash of radiator to the master. We could do something kind of similar with this sample, but probably to a much lesser degree even though we were using it pretty sparingly in the last one. Really just kind of trying to add some color to it. Let's just bust out little radiator. Just the little guy. Just the little radiator guy. Let's put this after everything. So as you can see, it kind of just like adds this body to it, this kind of richness. Part of me is also really curious, what if we added like this crazy width to it? I don't know. This might be super extreme. We're getting a little bit crazy here, but we're experimenting, you know. Oh, that's sick. Do you have reason racks? I'm not sure. What are reason racks? I don't have reason racks, I don't think. I will say I do have, as far as racks go, I do have like what Sound Toys comes with, which is, what is it, Effect Rack, which kind of lets you like put everything into a cabinet to technically speaking, like a, you know, with all of the Sound Toys plugins into a cabinet. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what reason racks are. Let's bring up that bass a little bit. Woo, this is sound pretty cool, pretty slick. I'm curious if maybe I need to like hear this against the intro. I was also kind of considering some sidechain. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe we do a little bit of sidechain. Real quick though, let's jump back to the intro and see how this feels. That's me. Wow, that is actually, especially with like the width, I think we've done a pretty good job of like filling out this beat, making it feel nice and full. I'm gonna bring up the bass even more. Squeeze it a little bit more. Yeah, let's start messing around with a little bit of sidechain. I think that's going to be really, really sick. So, let's see. We're going to mute that because we don't want to hear this duplicated track. We are going to silence everything except for the kick. We could include sidechain in there, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Let's try just with the kick first. And we'll probably take off that like that reverb just to get a cleaner signal. All right, cool. Now that we got that in place, we can really start experimenting with a little bit of sidechain. Let's get our glue compressor out. And yeah, I feel like we did this in the right order. I'm kind of doing this at the end of, you know, this track. Let's see. External. Boom. Yeah, at the end of this effects chain, basically. Cool, and I got it set right. The first beat, I set my sidechain wrong. Not making that mistake here. All right, let's try it like this first of all. There we go. But yeah, Signature says same sort of thing. You can use Reason as a plugin in Ableton. Oh, that's so sick! And also sync them together. You know what that reminds me of is the MPC plugin. So like, don't know. I don't think I've really pulled it up on stream, but this MPC Studio, I used to chop all of my samples on the MPC Studio natively within Ableton. You can use the full MPC DAW as a plugin within Ableton. And I love when DAWs do this. There's a lot of reasons why, I said the thing. There's a lot of reasons why you might do that in Signature. I'm sure you're quite aware of all of the reasons why that really is advantageous. I don't know. I think that there's certain functionalities, like stock functionalities within different DAWs that just work the best, right? And I don't know. I really, really appreciate it when DAWs go out of their way to make their DAW compatible with any other DAW. It's fantastic. Now, the MPC plugin, the MPC plugin has since stopped working in Ableton Live 12. Really breaks my heart, you know. But also, I've since grown, even since it kind of stopped working. I kind of fell in love with simpler rather than using the MPC workflow to chop samples. That's just me personally. You know, I find it a lot more easy to work with and easy to just fly through workflow-wise, you know. But yeah, no, that's so sick, though. I had no idea that Reason could work natively inside Ableton. Like, that's actually, you know, maybe one point to get Reason. I'm suddenly a little bit more convinced to check out Reason. So I take it that might be your DAW of choice, or at least one that you use. That's actually really useful to know. You know, if I ever am experimenting with Reason, if Reason ever goes on sale, if there's ever a reason why I need Reason, that's, 1 point for Reason. Let's get this sidechain set right, see where we're going with it. Now, this is the kind of track where we might do like a deep sidechain. Really get that threshold and that ratio up. Now, I'm going to take like maybe the first two of these and try throwing it on the bass. This might sound totally wonky, but let's try it. Go back to that kick EQ. Now that we got that sidechain in place, I feel like we could boost some of these lows a little bit more. Okay. I know this EQ looks goofy, but you know, it's doing good work on this kick. Bringing down the hi-hat that's up top. We shaped this to go with this bass. Really get it to thump in the right way. You can feel how much more satisfying that is, right? Yeah. Ooh. All right, shall we look at the synth lead maybe? I'm not sure if there's really much work I want to do on that synth lead. We might carry over some of our sidechain, bring it over here. And I think we could afford to bring this up a little bit. But yeah, lots of reasons, workflow, but I have all the DAWs, use different ones for certain projects. They are all good, just how you want to work. Exactly, you know, and I feel like that's the thing that any experienced producer or mix engineer will tell you is like, you can do pretty much anything in any DAW, but it really does come down to workflow. You know, that's, I guess the first DAW that I ever really got my hands on was Cakewalk. I don't know, I literally got it when I was like 12, you know. It was a pretty confusing DAW, like even by today's standards, even out of all the DAWs I've used, I still feel like Cakewalk was a little bit unnecessarily odd to work with. And then the one that I really started producing on when I was like maybe 15 or 16, or I forget how old I was exactly when I started producing. I was in high school sometime. I started using GarageBand, you know, which actually was surprisingly pretty great. I did enjoy GarageBand for a good long while. But as soon as I got my hands on Ableton, oh my God, did I totally fall in love with this DAW. I feel like what I just love about this is you can drag anything anywhere and it will work pretty much as you expect it to. You know, it's very, very intuitive, and also it has a very strong powerhouse of just like stock plugins. You know, it comes with some very, very great tools. I don't know. This was the first DAW where I really felt limitless in what I could do, right? Now, I do think that nowadays I could step into a DAW that I've never used, like Reason, or perhaps like FL Studio. I know a lot of people want to watch me, you know, try to figure out FL Studio for the first time. That might be a fun stream sometime, you know. But I just like, I don't know. I just haven't had any reason to want to switch. I do all of my production in Ableton, and I do all of my mixing in Ableton. And who knows, maybe I'm just like kind of pigeonholed because I just like Ableton so much. But I don't know. I think that there might be some time, like if I'm ever really diving into live, tracking, you know, like live recording, I might explore Logic, you know, I might explore like Logic Pro. I don't know, you know, but I don't know. I like it. That's interesting though that you've got like all the DAWs. That's pretty wild, man. All right, let's make sure that we like this intro going in to the track. All right, let's hear it. Boy, we've really filled out the mix in such a way that I do think we could actually bring that intro back up, you know? I knew that once we did our homework on the, you know, the beat itself that might change, right? Yeah, let's highlight both these guys. Let's bring them up by like 1-2 decibels maybe. Possibly 3. Yeah, let's try this. If it's too much, we can always bring it down. No, that's perfect. Okay. let's just make sure that our max peak is below 0. Oh, we're like really good. Oh, we're definitely good. All right, I think it might be time to start mastering. Let's just listen through it though, make sure we like it. But yeah, I see Signature saying Logic is great. Also for live tracking is Reaper. Very stable and less CPU load when dealing with multiple channels. Just a thought. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I'll keep that in mind. I've got a couple of homies that cook up with Reaper and swear by it. So that's sick. That's sick. I gotta admit, I really haven't had the opportunity to do a ton of live tracking. And I'll do like a little bit of stuff with like this, right? Little Focusrite, little bedroom setup, right? And, it works, but it's not ideal. It's, it is what it is. I would really love to get into like, I don't know, if I could get hired at like a record studio or something, that would be my excuse to really dive into live recording. I would love to someday, but just haven't had the opportunity yet, That might change though. That might change. I remain hopeful, right? At some point I might just go begging, go knocking on doors. Please let me in. I will serve coffee. I will scrub toilets. Whatever it takes, man. Let me work at your studio. I very well might do that someday, but, and then it's just kind of like whatever they use, which is probably like Logic, right? But, I think I'm ready. Yeah. Minus 3.95. Let's start compressing this. Ooh, I bet this is going to be spicy with the compressor. Let's see. We're going to do, Shadow Hills, of course. I'm just trying to think ahead. Like, I think we're going to get away with a pretty minimal master chain here. I'm not the best at mastering, but, I'm getting slowly better. Here we go. We might kind of squeeze this one a little bit more aggressively. Oh, this is quite tasty. Yeah. Yeah, I see Signature saying you're dedicated and that will be rewarded. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the vote of confidence, dude. I really do. You know. It's tough, but, you know, I've been at this for 5 years now, doing it professionally, like working with artists and mixing and publishing lots of music. You know, I've already had a couple of lucky breaks so far, but regardless of whatever opportunities come my way, I'm confident that, you know, with how much I'm focused on building what I have right in front of me, you know, I'm confident that good things are to come, you know. I'm already really stoked on like what I've been able to accomplish, especially like on Spotify. Like that's a crazy one, you know, having like 50,000 monthly listeners is way more than I ever thought I was ever going to achieve, right? But you know, it's crazy, you know. It's like you never really know what is going to come your way. And you know, speaking of which, you know, one of the bigger accomplishments is actually still kind of coming up. I got a placement with DJ Grumble. I don't know if you guys know him. It's going to be coming out in October, and it's actually signed through a label, right? We got it signed through a label. It's going to go on a project of this record label in France. Really wanted this track that I made a sample for. DJ Grumble flipped it, and anyways, that's going to be, you know, like that's one reward that I'm like, whoa, no way, right? But one of the things that DJ Grumble told me, because I was asking him about like, man, what's your advice on getting like major placements and stuff like that, you know? And he told me basically, I guess in a gist, what he told me was that the people with opportunities will come to you, right? It's about giving them reason to really come to you, you know? And also staying on people's radar, of course, but it's about giving people reason to come to you, you know? He was basically saying like he gave the example of one of his songs got used in a Google commercial, right? And he was like, there was no front door that I could go knock on and be like, please, may I have a placement with Google, right? He was just like, no, I was just really dedicated and focused to what I was doing. And then, you know, Google reached out. And I was like, you know, really thinking about that, I don't know. I think that he has the right idea, which is like, if you are really focused and dedicated to what your goals are, other people, the right people should take notice, right? The right people will notice. That's not to say that you shouldn't like have outreach, right? But I think that that's the right philosophy in terms of like, you know, trying to find your way to the right placements. I see a lot of people maybe trying to just, you know, spam out to like, you know, with 0 followers, just spamming out 0 discography, 0, you know, just spamming out loops or whatever to, you know, tons and tons of platinum DJs or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. And it's like, I won't knock it. Like, you shouldn't take your shot. But at the same time, I think that what really, really helps is when you're super focused on, you know, accomplishing something. Like if you have a goal and you are like really focused on that goal and you're succeeding at that goal, other people can see you succeeding at that goal. Suddenly you kind of have a little bit of weight to bring to the table. And it's like, yeah, maybe that works, you know? Yeah, Signature says, nice one. France is great market. Also Japan. Yo, definitely Japan, man. Oh, yo, I got a lot of love for Japan. I gotta say, I think my top 3 audiences thus far has been Brazil, Taiwan, and Japan. Also the U.S., but honestly, most of my audience from the U.S. comes from Spotify radio streams. And you know, so I do actually have a good chunk of like fans in the U.S., but I would attribute more of like the actual like, you know, the places of the world that have really like heard my music and really connected with it to be like Brazil number 1, especially. Like Brazil is insane. And then Taiwan and Japan, really great. I've done a little bit of work with some with at least like one record label in Japan. I have no idea what came of it. They just like bought an exclusive rights to a beat from me, but you know, but no doubt, man, no doubt. Anyways, we should get going on this. Let's see, where was our max peak? Mine is 4.18. That's perfect. That's perfect. We can definitely boost that up. I'm yapping now, man. I'm yapping. Let's get this 4 dB up. There we go. And let's make sure our max peak stays below 0. God, this got some really nice bump to it, man. Woo. Yeah, and our max peak is getting up there, but I think that it's going to stay steady. Nice. Oh, sick. Let's run it through a limiter. All right. Maximizer, that is. Let's see. Okay. Volume warning once again. I always got to warn you guys. I want you guys to protect your ears, okay? Let's do the master assistant and just see what it spits out. I don't know. It might actually do something pretty good on this track. We'll see. This is a pretty rich and full track, and I feel like this works the best on tracks that are kind of full. But let's find out, you know. Okay, yeah, that actually, especially considering what you see here, like that, this does make sense. It does kind of give it a brighter shine to it. I like that. All right, let's measure our love, see how far off we are, okay? Let's just see where we're at, see where we need to nudge it to. Yeah, this one should be pretty good. TapDaddyBeats. Well, I'm gonna have to get my mic volume up. It's quite loud. All right. Thank you, Signature. Oh, yeah. Oh, what happened there? Okay, well, the master sounds great. I'm keeping that. I just thought I heard something go amiss right there at the end. I don't know. Am I crazy? Let's hear that. No, that sounds good. Whew! Guys, I think we did it. Oh, let's go. Damn. 3 beats, and I'm really proud of the work too. Like I feel like we got some really great beats, really great mixes. Man, I think the only dodgy master that I had today was that second one, and I know I'm gonna probably have to go back on that one and just make sure that I'm still vibing with it. We ultimately did steer it around to something that was pretty good, you know. I just am a little afraid it might be a little bit out of control. But, you know, you can't be expected to get it all right in one day, right? That's why we come back, we listen, you know, all that good jazz. So, anyways, wow. This was a very productive stream. Thank you for everybody that hung out today. I mean, geez, this was a fun stream. All right. And of course, I got to end by, you know, saying if anybody here needs mixing services, I got my email listed below. Definitely reach out to me. I would love to work with you guys. Also, all of the beats that you guys heard on stream today is going to be on BeatStars very shortly here. So definitely keep an eye out. If you're a rapper looking for beats, all of my beats are 100% clearance guaranteed. You know, you see a lot of boom bap producers that are like sampling Michael Jackson and shit, and you know, you're never gonna have sample clearance issues with my beats. So if you are an artist looking for some sick boom bap beats, definitely check out the BeatStars. It is listed below. Yeah, check out the bundle deals. I got bundle deals for days. So, anyways, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Damn, we're going to do some more mixing on Thursday. And of course, we got a Saturday morning cook-up happening this Saturday. If you guys want to watch me cook beats, come through on Saturday. Definitely come through on Saturday. I'll see you guys then. All right. So, you know, until then, my name is TapDaddy. And until next time, happy producing, happy mixing, all that good jazz. I will see you guys later. Peace.